Have you ever heard a story so wild, it has to be true? Well, maybe not true, but definitely unforgettable. This is the tale of Muhammad al-Shatir, a clever merchant who got more than he bargained for in the game of love. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Neyto. Now, to put it kindly, Neyto wasn't exactly a head-turner. In fact, she was so unattractive that her wealthy father couldn't find anyone, young or old, willing to marry her. Desperate, he turned to his slave. "How on earth can we marry off Neyto?" he cried. The slave, seeing an opportunity, replied, "If I find her a husband, what's in it for me?" The rich man, without a second thought, promised him a huge sum of money and his freedom. With a plan in mind, the slave traveled for 2 whole days to a distant acacia forest. There he started chopping wood and peeling bark, day in and day out. A year later, a merchant caravan passed by, led by the sharp and savvy Muhammad al-Shatir and his own slave Bashara. The forest slave welcomed them warmly, offering water and food. The merchants, seeing the mountain of wood and bark, were curious. "Why are you gathering so much?" they asked. The slave just laughed. "Oh, this is for my mistress," he said. "The wood is for her incense, and the bark is for combing her hair." The merchants were stunned, but went on their way. Exactly 1 year later, on their return journey, they found the same slave in the same spot, still chopping wood and peeling bark. Again he hosted them with great generosity. Muhammad al-Shatir, his curiosity piqued, asked, "Is all that wood and bark from last year gone already?" The slave chuckled. "Yes, every last bit." "Did you sell it?" Muhammad pressed. "Oh no," the slave replied with a sly grin. "That was all for my mistress Neyto's incense and her hair. And believe me, it wasn't nearly enough." Muhammad al-Shatir was absolutely fascinated. "Who is this Neyto?" he demanded. The slave's eyes widened. "Master, her hair is as vast and endless as this very forest." Muhammad's mind started racing. He asked, "And her face, her features, are they decent?" The slave just shook his head. "Master, she's not even married yet." That was all Muhammad needed to hear, he thought. If her hair needs a forest's worth of supplies, she must be the most beautiful woman in the world. He immediately rode to Neyto's father's house and declared his intention to marry her. The father was so shocked and overjoyed, he could barely speak. The clever slave chimed in, "My master will give you his daughter." For a cantor of gold, a cantor is a huge amount. But Muhammad didn't hesitate. He brought the gold, the father freed his slave, and the deal was done. But soon things started to unravel. One day, while walking by the seashore, Muhammad overheard some local women gossiping. "Can you believe Neyto finally got married?" one said. Another replied, "Yes. Some blind man came, gave her father a cantor of gold, and just took her away." Blind man. Muhammad's blood ran cold. He hadn't been blind when he paid the gold. He immediately summoned his slave, Bashara. "Go," he commanded, "sneak into the house and see what this Neyto truly looks like." Bashara, ever loyal, went to the house and asked for a drink of water. He got a quick glimpse of Neyto as her hair was being combed, and he rushed back to his master. Muhammad asked him to describe what he saw, piece by piece. "For face," Muhammad asked. Bashara grimaced. "Like an old worn-out wooden ladle you've sucked on for years. Her eyes like the eyes of a cat you've cornered and scared half to death. Her nose like the mouth of a soot-blackened cooking pot. Her hair like the matted fur of a soaking wet cat. Her hands as crooked as a spindle. You've bent yourself. Her breasts like saggy pumpkins that have been left in the sun too long. Her belly like a big leather sack just thrown in the middle of the village. Her back as curved as a bow you've just bent. Her hips like the sunken sides of a drum you've beaten too hard. And her legs," Muhammad asked, dreading the answer. "Like the legs of a goat you've just slaughtered." Muhammad was horrified. He'd been tricked, completely and utterly fooled. "Bashara," he pleaded, "how do I get out of this?" Bashara looked at his master with pity. There is only one way. We must drive your camel away as a distraction. Leave all your possessions behind and run. It's the only way to escape. And so, under the cover of night, Muhammad al-Shatir abandoned his fortune and fled with his slave. They traveled for days, which turned into a month, until they finally reached a new, unfamiliar village. As they entered the village, they saw a group of young men playing, and each one kept shouting, "I am Laab's brother." Muhammad's curiosity got the better of him again. He stopped one of them and asked, "Who is this Laab everyone is so proud of?" The young man's face lit up. "She is the most beautiful girl in our entire village," he exclaimed. Well, you can guess what happened next. Muhammad, ever the romantic, went straight to Laab's father and asked for her hand in marriage. The father said, "Bring me a canter of gold." Muhammad, having learned nothing, immediately produced a bag of gold. The wedding was set for a month's time, but this time Muhammad was a little wiser. A few days later, he was walking by the seashore again and heard the familiar chatter of women. "Did you hear Labib is getting married?" One said yes to a stranger, who gave her father a canter of gold. Muhammad immediately called for Bashara. "Go," he said. "But this time, make absolutely sure. Is this girl Laab truly beautiful?" Bashara went, he saw, and he came back with a completely different report. His eyes were shining as he described the new bride-to-be. Her face, Muhammad asked nervously, like a radiant full moon. Her nose like the elegant golden flask of a priest. Her neck, like clear water shimmering inside a golden jug. Her back, long, slender, and perfectly straight. Her hand as graceful as a thin leather whip. Her belly as smooth and perfect as a young goat resting in the shade. Her hair like the soft, flowing feathers of an ostrich, and her feet like a delicate pigeon walking on smooth stone. Muhammad was ecstatic. He roared with laughter and joy. "Bashara, if what you say is true, I will grant you your freedom and give you half of all my wealth." And this time, the description was absolutely true. Labay was as beautiful as Bashara had described. True to his word, Muhammad freed his loyal slave and shared his fortune with him. And Muhammad al-Shatir lived happily ever after with the beautiful Laab, until the day that comes for us all, the destroyer of pleasures and the scatterer of joy, which is death. What a journey, right? It just goes to show, you can't always judge a book or a bride by her description. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales from around the world.